Cruises are even more popular now in 2025 with bigger and better ships out there. But with a new year also comes new changes. After COVID, the cruise industry really shifted. And as a 23-year-old who's been on over 50 cruises and literally grew up on these ships, let's talk about the predictions I have with the industry this year. Hey y'all, it's Abby, and I'm going to be using a concept called what's in and what's out. So when I say what's in, I mean I think this will be popular. And when I say what's out, that means I think this will probably go away or just won't be as common or prominent. Let's start off with the topic of dining. I think formal nights are going to be out, and I kind of will miss this actually, especially for the nostalgia for me of getting ready in the evening as a kid. But I think overall, people really have shifted their mindset to perceive cruises as being even more laid back. And I mean, sure, it's a vacation. You should be able to relax and kind of, at least to a point, do what you want to be able to do. But over the years, the amount of people going to the dining rooms and not necessarily dressing up has definitely trended up. And so I think cruise lines will definitely become even more relaxed with this quote-unquote rule. What will be in though, I think, is thoughtful dining options. Actually, something I love about Celebrity Cruise Line is that on the menus, it breaks down exactly all of the different diet considerations on the menu, and it's super clear as to what you are going to be eating. I think it was really helpful, especially because I have my own diet goals, and I think it may be a little bit convoluted, but I think cruises will start focusing on healthier options and portion sizes more. I really love grab and go concepts. Virgin Voyages does this exceptionally well, and their whole idea of the buffet is really unique. It's a galley, and your meals are basically like pre-portioned and prepared for you. You go up and order a specific thing, and they have a really nice variety. I think a lot of cruise lines can take notes from this concept. I mostly like it because at least with like grab and go from like the fridges they have, I can do that any time of day. And well, let's be honest, midnight pizza is the best kind of pizza. So I definitely think they're going to be really focusing on options now moving forward. But unfortunately, with such a strong focus on dining, I think complimentary options are going to be out, unfortunately. And that sucks. But let's be real, since COVID, lots of budget cuts were made. I could name a cruise line that is very much a culprit. And I think cruise lines really are focusing on providing a higher quality meal with their specialty dining to really drive their revenue in this sector. And from a business perspective, the cruise lines are really going to be milking this concept, let's be honest, of trying to get the most money out of their customer, and that really ties into dining. They have that opportunity right there. Let's transition a little bit. Unlimited options. The idea of unlimited options may be going out of style. Now, I think Princess Cruises has an unbeatable package, which is their premier package, and they include so many things in it, and it's for a fee that is stagnant. It doesn't change. It's not dynamic like some other cruise lines, and it's beautiful because of that. But what we've seen recently, and some of these changes have actually already been made, but we've seen now that unlimited drinks packages are now becoming limited. And I definitely have visions of cruises being even more picky, for lack of a better word, about what unlimited truly means and focusing on limiting those options. A lot of people actually don't mind the drinks package change, but we'll see. Now, with changes, that doesn't just mean on the cruise lines, and what will be in is what I'm going to call loyalty fluidity. Basically, I think loyal cruisers are now going to be exploring all of their options, and with all the changes that cruise lines are making, and some of them more interesting than others, even some of the most loyal cruise line passengers are trying out what other cruise lines are like, just to see. I'm like super loyal to Royal Caribbean. I'm Diamond Plus, I'm Elite Plus on Celebrity, and I've talked with so many people who are also very passionate and loyal to a particular cruise line, other cruise lines too. But I think a lot of people are starting to realize, like, with all of these changes going on, staying with one particular cruise line doesn't necessarily have to happen, and it might actually work out better for you because there are other cruise lines. Each cruise line is so unique in its own way, and they all offer something different. So sometimes it's nice to try something else just to see if it works better for you. And of course, too, quality of experience and all the pricing changes, you know, your budget changes. So I think a lot of people are going to be doing this so-called loyalty fluidity. Let's go a little bit more statistical, but I think solo cruising will continue to rise this year. Actually, I think now younger cruisers, my age at least, are starting to realize that cruises can be more affordable than other variations of travel, and it's much less a headache too. And with the way that cruises are packaged and everything's laid out for you, it can be really appealing. And CLIA, which is the Cruise Lines International Association, it's like the big governing cruising authority, they've stated over the last couple years that there is a boom. There is a very large uptick in solo travel in the cruise industry. And with cruise lines such as Norwegian offering strong options for solo cruisers, they have their own private solo cabins as well as solo cruise lounges, which I gotta try that one day. I think it's definitely become a top travel consideration. I also think the world cruise that happened and was super prominent on TikTok definitely showed people more about cruises, and it definitely spiked interest in this beautiful industry. I also hope that my content helps people, especially closer to my age, learn more about cruises, how fun they can be, how much it has to offer, and how affordable it can be. There's so many different ways to cruise and so many different cruise lines that can meet your needs. Speaking of the world cruise though, I think that also spiked interest in attracting longer sailing passengers. I mean, recently, Virgin Voyages recently announced their year-long annual pass, which is literally think like a Universal Studio annual pass, but for a cruise ship. I think it's crazy, but it's also very expensive. And I did the math, and you really would need to be cruising like almost every day for it to even make sense on a price per day basis. At least for me, it would need to be, because I ain't made of money, especially $120,000 a year kind of money. But I do think that just overall, people may be trying out the concept of going on longer cruises more and working on cruises too. Lots of people work remotely now. I also believe that with the surge of people wanting to get more out of life nowadays and be less chronically online, there is an appeal for just a nice getaway, and cruises really are accessible in that regard. Last on my list is private island focused itineraries. This kind of circles back to the point of cruise lines after the COVID pandemic trying to recover financially, and many, or at least most major cruise lines own their own private destinations. And don't get me wrong, they tend to be amazing. But I think from a business and financial standpoint, cruise lines may be having more itineraries that actually focus on these specific ports to keep their dollars within the company, within the island, so to speak. Also, as we've seen, Celebrity, which is a sister company to Royal Caribbean, has started to sail in Coco Cay. So I definitely see more of this in the future where cruise lines are going to really focus on these experiences. I mean, I was in the main dining room one day on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and they had on the intercom, like, don't forget to book your excursions for Coco Cay. And yes, I say Coco Cay because I think it makes sense. I know it's Coco Key, technically, but let's be honest, Coco Cay, perfect day at Coco Cay, that's a whole marketing for a rhyme right there. But nickel and diming, we can make a whole video on that. What do you think will be in or out this year in the world of cruising? Make sure to comment down below as well. Also make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date on all things cruising. Thank you so much to all of the Patreon and YouTube members who support this channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bon voyage!